You keep giving your energy to people who wouldn't show up for you if it started raining on your dreams. You're out here saving people who wouldn't even text back if you were drowning in doubt. And for what? Validation? Approval? A temporary fix to a permanent emptiness? Let me tell you the truth you've been running from. You've been stupid with your time. You've been careless with your energy. You've been giving the world pieces of you that should have been reserved for your growth. You're starving in your soul because you keep feeding everyone else's expectations, and it ends now. There comes a moment in every life when the mirror no longer lies, when the excuses stop working, when the late night distractions, the fake friendships, the pointless comparisons, they all become too loud to ignore. And that moment demands a choice. Either keep being stupid with what God gave you, or finally wake up and focus on what He put inside you. You're pouring into people who wouldn't even show up for you in your lowest moments. That's not loyalty. That's self-betrayal. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that your value came from how much you could give, how much you could endure, how much you could sacrifice for others. And now you're drained, frustrated, and confused because the people you keep showing up for never show up for you. You're always the strong one, always the fixer, always the one who answers the phone, lends the money, solves the crisis, picks up the pieces. But who picks you up when you fall apart? You need to understand this. Energy is currency. It's the most valuable thing you own. And when you spend it on people who don't value you, you end up bankrupt, not just emotionally, but spiritually, mentally, even physically. Some of your stress isn't from your workload or your responsibilities. It's from carrying the weight of relationships that God never told you to carry. You keep watering dead plants, hoping they'll bloom. You keep investing in people who treat your love like loose change, and then you wonder why you're tired all the time. You're tired because you're spending your life trying to rescue people who don't even want to be rescued. The hard truth is this: not everyone deserves access to you. Just because someone needs you doesn't mean they're meant to have you. Need is not a qualification. Loyalty should not be one-sided. Your presence is powerful. Your energy is rare. And if someone can't recognize that, they don't deserve your investment. Stop confusing proximity with purpose. Just because they're in your life doesn't mean they're part of your destiny. Some people are in your life to distract you, to drain you, to delay you. And if you're not discerning, you'll mistake their chaos for a calling. God didn't create you to be everyone's savior. That's His job. Your job is to be faithful to your assignment. Your job is to steward your gifts, protect your peace, and walk in purpose. But how can you do that when your life is always on pause, waiting on someone else to get it together? You can't build your future while babysitting someone else's dysfunction. You can't hear God clearly when your mind is cluttered with everyone else's drama. And you can't become who you're meant to be while constantly bleeding for people who never bleed for you. Let's be clear, this isn't about becoming cold, it's about becoming wise. There's a difference between helping someone and handing them your soul. There's a difference between serving from overflow and emptying yourself to the point of collapse. You're not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. That's not love, that's martyrdom. And God didn't call you to die for people. He already did that. The moment you begin valuing your energy is the moment everything changes. You'll stop over-explaining yourself. You'll stop forcing connections. You'll stop begging people to see you, hear you, choose you. Instead, you'll start building. You'll start healing. You'll start becoming. And the right people, the people who honor your presence, who nourish your spirit, who respect your boundaries, they'll find you. Not because you chased them, but because you finally made room for them by walking away from what never loved you back. It's time to be honest with yourself. Are you exhausted because of life's demands, or because you've been giving your best to people who only show up when it benefits them? If it's the latter, you know what to do. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's smart. That's a truth many people don't want to accept because society has taught you that putting yourself first means you're cold, arrogant, or self-centered. But that's a lie. The real selfishness is when people expect you to neglect your mental health, your purpose, your peace, just to keep them comfortable. And you've done it. You've bent over backward to be everything for everyone else while silently falling apart inside. You've made their dreams a priority while putting yours on the back burner. You've said yes when your soul was screaming no, and now you're wondering why you feel so lost. It's because you've spent so much time tuning into other people's needs that you forgot your own voice. You've poured out so much that you're running on fumes. And what's worse, you've convinced yourself that's noble, that being the one who never complains, never takes a break, never sets boundaries, that's what makes you good. But good doesn't mean selfless to the point of self-destruction. Good doesn't mean broken, bitter, or buried beneath everyone else's expectation. Focusing on yourself isn't about ignoring people. It's about no longer ignoring yourself. There is nothing wrong with stepping back to heal. There is nothing wrong with saying no to what drains you and yes to what restores you. Some of the most loving thing you can do is protect your energy. Because when you're depleted, you can't give anyone your best. Love without limits leads to burnout, not breakthrough. There is wisdom in rest. There is power in retreat. There is transformation in silence. And when you finally pause long enough to hear what your heart's been whispering, you'll realize that you've been living to survive, not to thrive. People may not understand when you stop answering every call, when you stop running to every emergency, when you stop attending every gathering. Let them misunderstand you. You're not here to be accessible to everyone. You're here to fulfill the purpose God placed inside you. And purpose demands focus. It demands stillness. It demands separation. If Jesus had to retreat to mountains to pray, what makes you think you can keep pouring nonstop and not suffer? You are not infinite. You are not invincible. You are a vessel, and vessels must be filled before they can overflow. What does it look like to focus on yourself? It looks like therapy. It looks like prayer. It looks like logging off social media. It looks like choosing the gym over the gossip. It looks like building your vision board and then actually following through with it. It looks like going to bed early, drinking water, reading books, journaling, budgeting, dreaming. It looks like loving yourself so fiercely that you no longer need anyone else to validate your worth. That's not selfish. That's maturity. And yes, people will talk. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're distant. They'll say you think you're better now. Let them talk. They don't know the price you paid to reclaim your peace. They don't know the nights you cried yourself to sleep trying to please everyone. They don't know how hard it is to say no when all you've ever said was yes. But that's okay. Your life is not a public committee. Your growth doesn't need a vote. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean you stop loving people. It just means you stop loving them more than you love yourself. It means you finally believe that you're worth the same care, the same grace, the same compassion you so freely give to others. It means you stop waiting to be rescued and start becoming your own healer. That's not ego. That's evolution. And the sooner you embrace it, the freer you'll become. You are the only one who can unlock your destiny. No one is coming to save you. That's the truth. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you purpose, discipline, or confidence. You've been waiting for a miracle, for someone to see your worth, for the perfect opportunity to fall into your lap. But what if the miracle is you getting serious about your life? What if the breakthrough you've been begging for is buried beneath the excuses you keep making? At some point, you have to stop waiting and start walking, start building, start becoming. No more blaming your past, your parents, your environment. It's time to take ownership because the life you want won't happen on its own. Too many people live on pause. They keep their dreams on hold, their voice silent, their ambition buried, all because they think someone else has the key. They think they need more support, more recognition, more approval. But nobody owes you that. You can't outsource your breakthrough. You can't delegate your transformation. The power is in your hands, and it always has been. Yes, life has been unfair. Yes, you've been hurt. Yes, others got a head start. But so what? That doesn't change your ability to rise. That doesn't cancel your calling. The fire inside of you is still there, but it won't ignite until you strike the match. And here's the hard part. You've got to be okay with doing it alone. You've got to be willing to show up even when no one claps for you, even when no one believes in you, even when it feels like you're making no progress. Real winners don't need an audience. They need a reason. You don't get stronger by waiting for easier conditions. You get stronger by walking through the storm with your head held high, knowing you were built to withstand it. You won't feel ready. You won't feel qualified. Do it anyway, because every day you delay, your purpose waits. Every time you hesitate, your destiny stays locked. It doesn't matter what they said about you. It doesn't matter who walked away. The opinion of others has no authority over the anointing God placed on your life. You weren't created to blend in. You weren't built to be passive. There is a fire in your bones that's been smothered by fear and doubt for too long. And now it's time to stop shrinking. Time to stop hoping someone else will notice your potential and finally call it out. That's your job. That's your responsibility. And the more you delay it, the more you prolong your healing, your success, your freedom. You want to change your life? Start by changing your decisions. Wake up earlier. Eliminate distractions. Set real goals and pursue them with real intensity. Surround yourself with people who push you, not pacify you. Stop giving energy to everything that's keeping you average. You can't rise while clinging to what's weighing you down. And you can't move forward while staring at what's behind you. Let it go. Let them go. Start moving with intention. Start speaking like someone who believes. Start living like someone who refuses to stay stuck. Because the truth is, your future is not waiting for someone to give you permission. It's waiting for you to believe you're enough. The day you decide to get serious about your life is the day everything begins to shift. So stop looking for a savior. You are the key. You are the solution. You are the one who can either unlock your future or stay locked in fear. Choose wisely. Break free from the distractions that keep you stuck. That means stop blaming life for why you're not moving forward, when the truth is, you're not stuck, you're distracted. You're scrolling when you should be building. You're gossiping when you should be growing. You're comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel instead of getting to work on your own progress. Distractions don't always look like destruction. Sometimes they look like entertainment, busyness, or people who seem harmless but are really pulling you further and further from your purpose. Some of the things you call just a break are really just traps. You say, I'll get serious tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes a week, a month, a year, and nothing changes. Because the enemy of your progress is not always failure, it's delay. It's procrastination disguised as rest. It's comfort disguised as peace. You think you have time, so you keep wasting it. But the truth is, your window is closing every single day you don't act. And deep down, you know it. You feel the pull in your spirit. You know you're called to more, but you're surrounded by noise, mental noise, digital noise, emotional noise, and it's drowning out the voice of God and the cry of your own destiny. You can't grow when you're constantly distracted. You can't hear direction when you're always plugged into things that weren't designed to feed your soul. You say you want clarity, but you won't log off long enough to hear it. You say you want discipline, but you won't break away from the very habits that sabotage your progress. You say you want peace, but you keep entertaining chaos. It's time to be brutally honest with yourself. What are you allowing into your life that's stealing your focus? Who are you letting speak into your future that doesn't even understand your vision? Not everything that's available is meant for you. Just because it's trending doesn't mean it belongs in your mind. Just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean you should too. Purpose requires focus, and focus requires separation. That means walking away from what looks good but doesn't lead you anywhere. That means choosing silence over constant stimulation. That means prioritizing your vision over your temporary feelings, because feelings lie. Distractions disguise themselves as comfort and convince you that movement is progress, but running in circles isn't going anywhere. Sometimes distraction comes in the form of people who want your attention, not your growth. People who only call you when they need you, not when they support you. People who keep you entertained but never inspired. It's not that they're bad people, it's that they're not your people, not for the level you're trying to reach. You've got to ask yourself, is this connection fueling my future or feeding my delay? Because if it's the latter, you've got to cut it. It doesn't matter how long you've known them. If they're not helping you grow, they're helping you stay stuck. You were not created to live a distracted life. You were created to live a life of purpose, power, and clarity. But you'll never reach that place if you don't protect your focus like it's sacred, because it is. Your attention is the steering wheel of your destiny. Wherever it goes, your life follows. So take it back. Refocus, re-enter, remove the noise, let go of what pulls you off track, because you can't walk into the life God designed for you if your hands are full of distractions He never gave you. It's time to choose purpose over passivity. It's time to wake up from distraction and step into discipline. That's how your life changes. That's how you get unstuck. You can't be who God called you to be while pleasing everyone else. That's a brutal but freeing truth, because some of the very people you're trying to impress, trying to keep close, trying to win over, they were never meant to walk with you in your purpose. And yet you keep adjusting, shrinking, second-guessing yourself to keep them comfortable. You keep holding your tongue, toning yourself down, playing small, all so others won't feel threatened by your growth. But here's the reality. Purpose and people-pleasing can't live in the same house. One of them has to go. Every time you say yes to someone else's expectations that contradict your assignment, you say no to your own destiny. You weren't called to be liked. You were called to be effective. You weren't chosen to blend in. You were chosen to stand out. And standing out means being misunderstood. It means being talked about. It means having the courage to disappoint people in order to stay aligned with God, because not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will support your vision. And if your identity is wrapped up in their approval, you'll stay stuck at the level they're comfortable with. Too many people are stuck in cycles of anxiety and burnout, not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too much for the wrong people. They're showing up out of guilt, saying yes out of fear, performing to avoid rejection. But when you live to please people, you become a prisoner to their opinions. One wrong move and they pull their support. One boundary and they withdraw their love. That's not a relationship, that's a transaction. And if you have to betray yourself to keep them, they were never for you to begin with. God did not call you to wear a mask. He did not anoint a watered-down version of you. He did not design your destiny to fit someone else's box. When He formed you, He already factored in your boldness, your fire, your uniqueness, your voice. So why are you dimming it to appease people who are more comfortable with your silence than your strength? That's not humility. That's fear. And fear will always keep you average. Fear will always keep you dependent on applause. But purpose will push you to be authentic, even when it's lonely. Purpose will pull you away from the crowd and into the calling. Purpose will demand you be real, even if it costs you company. You've got to make a decision. Do you want to be liked or do you want to be aligned? Because you will lose people when you get serious about your life, when you start setting boundaries, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop tolerating what doesn't honor you. Some people will leave. Let them. Their absence will make room for those who are assigned to your next level. Stop grieving the loss of people who only loved you when you were convenient. Stop chasing validation from those who never saw your value. The people God has for you won't need you to play small. They'll push you, challenge you, pray for you, celebrate you, not because you performed, but because you showed up as who you truly are. Freedom comes when you stop living for the crowd and start living for the call. And the moment you let go of people pleasing, you step into power. You speak differently. You move differently. You dream differently. You begin to understand that your worth was never tied to their approval. It was already sealed by God. And what He approves, no one can cancel. So be bold, be obedient, be unapologetically you. Because the moment you choose purpose over people pleasing is the moment everything begins to align. You can't rise to a new level if you're still carrying an old mindset. It doesn't matter how many books you read, how many motivational speeches you listen to, or how many goals you set. If your thinking hasn't shifted, your life won't either. Because breakthrough starts in the mind. It starts with what you believe about yourself, about what's possible, and about what you deserve. The reason some people stay stuck for years isn't because the door is locked. It's because their mind tells them it's not worth knocking. You've been conditioned to expect little, to settle early, to doubt yourself constantly. Somewhere along the line, you were taught to play it safe. Maybe life hit you hard. Maybe you failed before. Maybe people you trusted let you down. And now you wear that disappointment like armor. You tell yourself not to dream too big because you're afraid to get hurt. You tell yourself not to try again because what if it goes wrong? But all that fear is rooted in an old mindset, one that was shaped by pain, not purpose, one that was built in survival, not success. You're not in that season anymore. The pain that formed your perspective is not the reality you're walking into. But if your thoughts don't change, your surroundings won't either. You'll keep repeating the same patterns, attracting the same struggles, sabotaging the same blessings. That's why you've got to stop thinking like a victim and start thinking like someone who's chosen. You're not powerless. You're not behind. You're not broken beyond repair. You're becoming. You're being refined. But none of that will matter if your mind keeps dragging you back to who you used to be. God wants to elevate you, but you keep disqualifying yourself. You keep saying you're not ready. You keep saying you're not worthy. But that's not humility. That's spiritual amnesia. That's forgetting who created you and what He put inside of you. That's letting fear narrate your future. Your next level requires a new mental blueprint. It requires you to see yourself as equipped, as worthy, as favored. You can't think like a prisoner and live like you're free. You can't think like you're average and walk like you're anointed. Your actions will always follow your beliefs. So until your mindset shifts, your habits won't stick, your progress won't last, and your peace won't stay. Renewing your mind means questioning every lie you've believed, every limitation you've accepted, every voice that told you you'd never make it. It means rewiring your thoughts to align with where you're going, not where you've been. And that takes work. It takes repetition. It takes speaking life over yourself daily. It takes saying I am statements until you believe them. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am chosen. I am capable. Because if your internal world doesn't change, nothing in your external world will either. Don't let your old mindset rob you of your new season. Don't let fear disguised as logic keep you from what's possible. Every breakthrough begins in the invisible realm. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your self-talk. And if you can win there, you can win anywhere. You've already been given the tools. The challenge now is believing you're allowed to use them. Believing you're worthy of more, believing that your past didn't cancel your future, it just prepared you for it. You've grown too much to stay mentally stuck in a version of you that no longer exists. So drop the old story, drop the self-doubt, drop the excuses, rise up with a renewed mind and watch how your life rises to match it. Because the moment you start thinking differently is the moment you start living differently. And that's how elevation begins.